The Galactic Council chamber stretched, vast and magnificent, its crystalline walls refracting light from 1,000 distant stars. Representatives from across the known universe sat in their designated sections, the towering krill with their 6 arms, the gaseous Venth floating in containment fields, the insectoid Zarak clicking their mandibles in hushed conversation. But today, all eyes were on the human delegation. Aria Mitchell stood at the center of the circular floor, her small frame dwarfed by the enormity of the space around her. She was barely 23, a xenobiologist who had been selected for Earth's first diplomatic mission, purely by chance when the senior scientists had fallen ill. Her brown hair was pulled back in a simple ponytail, and she wore the standard Earth Federation uniform, far cry from the elaborate garments and bioengineered displays of the other species. Beside her stood Oscar Chen, Earth's military attaché, his hand resting cautiously near the ceremonial sidearm at his hip. He had objected to Aria's inclusion in this mission from the start, arguing that someone so young and inexperienced had no place in such delicate negotiations. But Aria had proven herself sharper than anyone expected. The session had been tense from the beginning. The Krill Empire, led by War Master Dexun, had demanded that humanity surrender all claims to the Proxima system, a resource-rich cluster that human colonists had settled 3 years prior. The Krill claimed ancient territorial rights, though their documentation was suspiciously vague. "Your species has no understanding of galactic law," Dexun boomed, his translator rendering his clicks and hisses into standard. "You are children playing at civilization." Aria had remained calm, presenting Earth's case with precision and dignity. She cited the Council's own settlement protocols, the absence of any Krill presence in the system for over 10,000 years, and the legally binding surveys conducted by human explorers. That's when Dexun had descended from his platform, the War Master, moved with surprising speed for a creature nearly 3 meters tall. Before Oscar could react, before the Council guards could intervene, Dexun's massive clawed hand shot out and grabbed the collar of Aria's uniform, lifting her slightly off the ground. "You dare lecture the Krill on law?" he snarled, bringing his triangular face close to hers. Your entire civilization could be erased, and the hall fell silent. Not the silence of shock or surprise, but something deeper, something primal. Every species in the chamber felt it, a shift in the very atmosphere, as though the universe itself had taken notice of what had just occurred. Oscar's hand moved to his weapon, but Aria caught his eye and gave the slightest shake of her head. Her feet dangled centimeters above the floor, but her expression remained unnervingly calm. "Let me go." Her voice was quiet, but it carried across the entire chamber. Dexun laughed, a harsh barking sound. "Or what, human child? You will code verdant," a new voice interrupted. It came from the Zarak section. Ambassador Shikri, one of the eldest members of the council. The insectoid's voice trembled. Dexun invoke code verdant immediately. The War Master's grip loosened slightly. "What nonsense is this? Check your historical database." This shout came from the Venth representative, their gaseous form swirling violently within their containment. Physical aggression against a human diplomat. What happened to the last species that tried? Around the chamber, aliens were frantically accessing their data archives. Oscar watched in confusion as expressions of horror, their alien equivalent, spread across face after face. The massive holographic display at the chamber's center flickered to life, showing historical records. Images flashed past: the extinct Drukal civilization, their worlds turned to ash. The collapsed Mericon Empire, their fleets scattered as debris among dead worlds. The vanished Ixalar Collective, their very name nearly forgotten, and in each record, the same notation, responded with violence to human diplomatic personnel. Human retaliation, total. Dexune's 4 eyes widened in recognition. His hand opened, and Arya dropped lightly to her feet, smoothing her collar with deliberate care. That's not possible, the War Master stammered, backing away. Those civilizations fell to internal conflicts, natural disasters. Cover stories, Kaikri clicked softly. The Council has kept the truth classified for 3 centuries. When the Drukal ambassador struck a human negotiator during first contact, humanity's response was the ambassador's mandibles trembled. Proportional is not the word. Absolute would be more accurate. Arya looked around the chamber, seeing fear etched on every alien face. She felt Oscar tense beside her, equally shocked by these revelations. "I don't understand," she said quietly. "Earth has never engaged in genocidal warfare. Our own history shows, not your government," interrupted a soft voice from the diplomatic gallery. An ancient being called a Witness One of the few species older than the Council itself floated forward. "But humanity itself. There is something in your species, child. Something that sleeps until one of your own is harmed unjustly. Your historians call them different names: guardian angels, collective unconscious, morphic resonance. We call it the verdant response." The witness's form shimmered with bioluminescence. When a human is harmed while under diplomatic protection, your entire species feels it. Billions of humans across light years, suddenly unified in purpose. Your fleets mobilize within hours. Your scientists weaponize physics in ways that shouldn't be possible. Your civilians become soldiers. Your pacifists become strategists. You become something more than the sum of your parts. And you don't stop, Kikri added, their voice hollow. You dismantle the aggressor civilization piece by piece. Not out of cruelty, but with the methodical thoroughness of a surgeon removing a cancer. Then, somehow, you forget. The collective rage dissipates, and individual humans don't even remember why they were compelled to act. Arya felt ice run down her spine. She looked at Oscar, who appeared equally disturbed. Bexun had fallen to his knees, all 6 of his arms extended in supplication. "Forgiveness," he rasped. "I did not know, we did not understand." Around the chamber, other Krill representatives were prostrating themselves. Within moments, representatives from every species had risen from their seats, bowing or performing their species-equivalent gestures of respect and apology. "The Proxima system is yours," Bexun continued, his voice breaking. "We withdraw all claims. We offer reparations, technology, resources, whatever Earth requires. We require nothing." Arya said firmly, finding her voice despite her shock. "Accept respect. We came here in peace, following your laws and protocols. We expected to be treated as equals, not threatened or manhandled." She looked around at the assembled representatives. "If what you say is true, humanity has this response, then it exists for good reason, not as a weapon, but as protection. We don't want to conquer. We don't want to destroy. We just want what every species wants, to exist peacefully and be treated with dignity." The witness floated closer, their ancient eyes studying Arya carefully. "You really don't know, do you? Your generation has no memory of the Drukal incident, the Mericon War. Our history books don't mention them," Oscar confirmed, speaking for the first time. If what you're saying is true, this knowledge has been completely suppressed. Perhaps that is the most terrifying thing of all, Kaikri observed. Humanity doesn't even remember its own wrath. Arya straightened her uniform and looked directly at the council leadership. Then let's make sure there's nothing new to remember. We'll continue these negotiations tomorrow with proper respect from all parties. And we'll pretend this incident never happened, provided it truly never happens again. The council members nodded frantically in agreement as Arya and Oscar left the chamber. The young woman could feel thousands of alien eyes watching their departure with a mixture of awe and terror. Did you know? Arya whispered to Oscar once they were in the corridor. No, he replied, his voice tight. But I'm going to find out if it's true. And if it is, he paused, looking back at the chamber doors. Maybe some things are better left unknown. Arya touched her collar where Vexun had grabbed her, feeling the slightly wrinkled fabric. Somewhere, across the vast distances of space, did billions of humans feel an echo of that moment? Were they even now settling back into their lives, unaware of the rage that had briefly unified them? She shuddered and walked faster, eager to leave the Galactic Council station and return to Earth where humans were just humans, and the universe wasn't quite so terrifying. Behind them, in the council chamber, the representatives sat in continued silence, each contemplating the sleeping giant they had been foolish enough to provoke, and grateful beyond measure for its mercy.